The Galaxy Ultra is in a bit of a strange position right now, sitting in an evolving market surrounded by options that look and feel more enticing. Yet with the reports of the Galaxy S25 Ultra selling very well in its opening couple of months, it's hard to see much changing going forward. So let's talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and it's safe to say that there's a lot of strong competition in the high-end smartphone market right now. Apple's having one of its best ever selling years with the iPhone 17 series, including a much improved base model. Google seems to be ever evolving its Google Pixel line of phones because, well, Google's Google, and the AI stuff is taking over. Even in the Apple camp, it seems. And OnePlus has been putting out bangers recently. Oppo and Vivo are potentially looking to join Xiaomi in releasing their ultra class phones to European markets as well. It really is hotting up, and yet the Galaxy Ultra has remained a very similar phone for 2 or 3 years now. If you wanted to be more general about it, you could probably go back to the Galaxy S22 Ultra. That's coming up for a 4-year-old device at this point, and this phone hasn't majorly evolved. Don't get me wrong, Samsung has certainly improved to the phone in that time. Stuff like the 200 megapixel main camera sensor, the flat glare reduction glass on the front is really good. One UI has brought some more AI tools and gimmicks, and even introduced a pretty solid pro video mode to compete with Apple's class-leading mobile filming setup. It's not like the S25 Ultra is the same phone as the S22 Ultra, but when the competition has made so many improvements in that time, and the S25 Ultra has stood at basically the highest end of the slab smartphone pricing tier, it can be really hard to fully appreciate the greatness of this device. Because there are certainly things worth celebrating despite it having been on the market for a year already. The S26 Ultra is basically just bouncing out of the gates. It's still due another 6 years of software updates, taking it into 2032 and hopefully Android 22 as well, with the One UI being one of the best Android skins in the balance. It has a clean aesthetic, is functionally very good, it's just an overall fantastic skin. The display is still glorious, not only with it being massive, super high resolution, 120Hz, and also surrounded by those tiny bezels, but the aforementioned anti-glare coating is phenomenal. And Samsung does a great job of tuning its displays to both feel punchy, but still relatively natural at the same time. The S25 Ultra's display is up there with the very best panels on a smartphone, competing directly with Google's fantastic Pixel displays, if you ask me. The S Pen is a little bit more hit or miss. I mean, the quality is certainly there, but it seems to be the case that you either use the S Pen every single day, or that you never touch it after you first get it out of the phone when you first buy the device. I can easily live without the S Pen personally, even in the lower end Samsung SKUs, but I know people, particularly those that have to sign documents all the time or draw up plans, that absolutely love this feature and have to go with the Ultra every year because, well, it's the only phone that gives you a stowaway stylus, probably mostly down to the patents that Samsung holds. And though I am at the stage where I feel like this is not an ultra camera debate anymore, thanks to the stagnation in the hardware, it is still a very complete camera system, and I think anyone but the most enthusiastic of smartphone photographers will love using it. With the 4 lenses on the back, there is an awful lot of flexibility here. Sure, other than the main 1x camera, the sensors on the back here are a little bit long in the tooth, but that isn't to say you can't take some great photos with this thing. I think had Samsung named this phone the Galaxy S25 Pro instead of the Ultra to be more in line with Apple's and Google's offerings, I wouldn't have as much of a drama about the middling hardware. But because it is called the Ultra, sitting alongside smartphone camera systems with 1-inch sensors, massive telephoto sensors, variable apertures and so on, Samsung has given this phone an extraordinary set of competition from China's elite smartphone makers, and it just cannot compete. What Samsung always seems to nail with these cameras though is a sense of usability and balance. It doesn't really matter which mode you use, there's always going to be a decent floor of quality and performance, and that comes in no small part due to the mature colour processing going on here. Sure, there are times when the shot might come out a bit too punchy or the denoising might be a bit too aggressive, but come on, no camera system is perfect. And this isn't the Samsung of old. If you look at it from all angles, video, portrait mode, all the lenses, night mode, the app, the user experience, it shows a seriously complete smartphone camera setup that can compete with its mainstream brethren despite changes in software and hardware to Google and Apple's phones respectively. Samsung, for me, needs to improve in some key areas to make the next Ultra something that we as enthusiasts can really start looking at as an elite Ultra option again. The 5000 mAh battery needs expansion, at least 6000 mAh if you ask me, if it wants any chance of competing with the iPhone Pro Max, let alone the OnePlus flagship model to go along with that. And the charging really does need a boost in wattage to match. Yes, this phone still gets me through 2 full days, though I am a lighter user. But when you use one of these side by side with a 17 Pro Max or a OnePlus 15, there is a clear delta here. Apple isn't using a huge battery but has found a sweet spot in its efficiency, and OnePlus just went nuts and put the biggest battery it could find in there. Finally, and maybe this is me being a bit of a camera nerd, I think we need to see a more powerful telephoto here. There have been rumours of a boosted 3x camera, which for me is the real sweet spot when it comes to the right focal length for taking natural looking photos. A OnePlus 12 level 3x camera sensor in here, I'd take that in a heartbeat. I think for a discount, this is still a very viable model in the current market. Under $1,000, closer to the OnePlus 15's price, this is a phone that I can still recommend to a good chunk of people because it's such a complete package. It's still really good. And to the mainstream, this is still one of the best phones you can buy. I'm constantly asked by friends and family, Ryan, what's the best phone that I can go out and purchase right now? Is it the Galaxy S25 Ultra or the iPhone 17 Pro Max? And well, you should see the look on their faces when I point them towards companies like OnePlus and Xiaomi, brands they've never heard of before. My point is that despite the hardware deficit, the S25 Ultra in its successors will continue to be considered some of the best phones money can buy, even if we know that's not quite fully the case. The S25 Ultra 1 year later is an exceptionally well-rounded product with so much going for it, it's really hard to argue in that sub $1,000 price category. Though as I've mentioned in previous videos, if you're really looking for a bargain, definitely take a look at like a used Galaxy S24 Ultra, because they might be some of the best deals in tech right now. I'd love to hear what you think about the Galaxy Ultra series. Do you feel like they're really deserving of their Ultra moniker in 2026, considering the competition, considering other Ultra phones on the market? I'm generally quite fond of these things, but I'm not sure there's much Ultra here anymore. Maybe instead Galaxy Pro would have been a more applicable name. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and whilst you're down there, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content, and subscribe to never miss another upload. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.